And it is episode 4 of Wednesday Night Live with WA2K99. On tonight's show, the Mets and Yankees are currently playing Game 2 of their 2-game series in the Bronx. It's a tight game in the 6th inning. We're going to track that game together, and we're also going to talk a lot about the Jets. Aaron Rodgers' new contract, spend a little time on that. We're also going to spend some time talking about 3 aspects of the Jets team that I think are going to surprise some people, and 3 aspects of the team that I worried could be a little bit disappointing. All that and more on Wednesday Night Live. Let's do it. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm WA2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. And we are here. It is episode 4 of Wednesday Night Live. Now, as you are noticing, I am not sitting in the infamous wicker chair tonight. Nope, I am 3 hours south. I am down here in beautiful Cary, North Carolina, just outside of Raleigh. And instead of a wicker chair in my banners, I've got drawn blinds going on behind me. Quite the backdrop, I know. This is important to know. This is the original spot of the infamous wicker chair. There's actually landmarks, I understand that the town of Cary might actually designate it a historic landmark. There'll be a plaque right outside the building. I'm sure you all can check that out if you want to. So here's what we're going to do. I've got the Mets-Yankees game over here on the computer. So if you see me looking over to this side, it's because I'm tracking what's going on. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Right now, the Yankees lead 3-1 in the bottom of the 6th. The Yankees have runners on 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. Jose Quintana at 93 pitches, trying to get through 6 innings. It's been a little bit of a frustrating night as a Mets fan. The Mets are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Yankees 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. And right now, it is Oswaldo Peraza, the 9-hitter, who is up. And it looks like the Mets have a runner in. Yep, they caught him in a rundown, and they just got the 3rd out. Quintana bounced a breaking ball in the dirt. Alvarez did a great job to pick the ball up. The Mets are out of the inning, on to the 7th inning. They're already into the Yankees bullpen. Michael King currently on the mound. Let's see what happens. So let's get started right now. We're going to do our 3 and out. Then we're going to talk some Jets, and we may look back and forth at what's going on in the baseball. The first thing I want to talk about tonight is this trade that just came down in baseball. And if you're a Mets fan like me, this should have a little bit of interest for you. This was Noah Syndergaard getting traded from the LA Dodgers to the Cleveland Indians/Guardians in exchange for Ahmed Rosario. So 2 ex-Met prospects, 2 of the most highly regarded prospects the Mets system has produced in probably the last 10 years. Have not only moved on from New York, but they have left the teams that initially acquired them. Now, Syndergaard went to the Angels, then he went to the Dodgers. Now he's heading over to Cleveland. And Noah Syndergaard, how the mighty have fallen. I'm just going to read his ERAs from his career, starting with his first full season in 2016. Just look at this. 2.60 in 2016, fantastic. Had that great duel with Madison Bumgarner in the wild card game, Mets versus Giants. Heartbreaking game as a Mets fan, but Syndergaard, pitched his butt off that night. He was fantastic. 2017, 2.97, little higher, but still very good. 2018, 3.03, still very good. 2019, you start to see some issues. His ERA jumps to 4.28. 2020, he skipped because of COVID. And I think he was also injured that season. It was Tommy John, 2020, he had Tommy John. He came back in 2021, pitched just 2 games, 2 innings, had a 9 ERA. I'll throw that one aside. But 2022, it was 4.12. 2023, this season, Syndergaard has a 7.16 ERA. Absolutely terrible. He has pitched 55 innings, 44 runs scored, 12 home runs, 38 strikeouts to 9 walks, and a 1.45 whip. Just not good whatsoever. And, another thing is his strikeout rate. When Syndergaard came in, and I got to watch him pitch in the minor leagues a little bit. He would pass through King County, Illinois a little bit when I was living in the west suburbs of Chicago. And he was averaging 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. This year, it's down to about 6. As Syndergaard has now hit 30 years old, it isn't amazing to think that Noah Syndergaard is 30 years old. And I'll tell you, I was a huge fan of Syndergaard. I got the jersey. I've got the Mets hat with the blonde hair sticking out of the back, just like he used to have back in the day. Those pictures will never see the light of day, I can assure you. But it is sad to see how far he has fallen off. It really, really is. And then I'm going to mention real quick in the comment, we've got John Post from Pure Adrenaline Sports. He's doing his live stream with Mets Yankees now. I jumped on his last night. I thank him for his support and for promoting the channel. It means a lot. And yes, for sure, the reason I'm down here in North Carolina is for my mom. She is definitely undergoing a major surgery in the morning. I'll be up probably about 4 a.m. So yes, prayers would be very much appreciated. Positive thoughts, whatever you're willing to do, we definitely do appreciate that. No doubt about it. And so as far as Ahmed Rosario goes, I remember when Rosario was ranked the number 3 prospect in all of baseball. This year, then the Mets trade him away along with Andres Jimenez in the Francisco Lindor trade. And even though Rosario has proven to be, I would use an adequate big leaguer to describe him, he's never really emerged as the star that I think a lot of people were hoping he would be able to be. He's got a .265 batting average this season where he was hitting in the 280s. Pretty recently. 3 home runs, 40 RBIs, a .675 OPS. And one of the biggest issues with Rosario going back to the beginning is he doesn't walk. He doesn't have great plate discipline. Probably the best thing he does, though, is it's probably his speed. He led Major League Baseball last year in triples with 9, and he's got 6 this year. So he's got high contact, low power, doesn't walk much, and his defense is really not working out. As the first 2 Mets hitters make out in the 7th inning, as the big lefty gets both Mendick and Nimmo out. Mets down to 7 outs here. But Rosario has been pretty disappointing on defense. StatCast has him rated as the worst defensive shortstop in all of baseball. Same with defensive runs earned. So pretty much any metric you would use to measure a defense, Rosario is pretty much at the very bottom of it. 11 errors this season. So what you really have here is a situation where 2 teams are swapping problems. And let's see if a change of scenery does any good for either of these players. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to mention something about the Yankees here real quick. I don't understand why they don't go out and make a trade. To me, the perfect player for them to acquire is Cody Bellinger for the Cubs. 27 years old. The Yankees need an outfielder. They cannot keep playing Isaiah Kiner Falafel in the outfield. They are using infielders in outfield spots, especially with Aaron Judge out, and it isn't working. Okay, Bellinger is the left-handed hitter they need in this lineup, especially while Anthony Rizzo isn't doing so well. He could play left field. His contract is up after this season. There is a mutual option for 2024, but he signed with the Cubs this year a 1-year, $12.5 million contract, and it's proven to be a fantastic deal. He's hitting .314. I mean, he's pretty much playing like he did when he first came up with the Dodgers, hitting .314, 14 home runs, 45 RBIs in 69 games. So to me, it makes a lot of sense for the Yankees to pursue him. All right, so let's see what Brian Cashman decides to end up doing here. It's going to be fascinating to watch. And number 3 tonight, we're going to talk about Saquon Barkley. I want to talk about him real quick. So he and the Giants, after this brief holdout, they agreed to a contract worth 1 year, $11 million, includes a $2 million signing bonus. So Barkley's new deal is worth $10.1 million guaranteed. Now he also has $900,000 in incentives he can reach based off rushing yards, touchdowns, and passing receptions. Here's the thing with this cash value of about $11 million, basically. The contract ranks third among running backs behind only Derrick Henry of the Titans and Nick Chubb of the Browns. That's a very good place to be. Now, the deal, here's the thing. Here's why the Giants win at this. The deal does not include a franchise tag clause. That means next year the Giants can tag him again and prevent him from hitting free agency again if they want to. And you know what's so funny about it? It was like a week ago, just a week ago, when the Giants basically said that, or Barkley said, on this podcast, he was going to consider holding out for the season. It doesn't seem like that lasted very long now, did it? So much for that. Well, now let's switch over, and that's the end of 3 and Out. We're going to talk a little bit about the New York Jets, as I see Drew Smith is coming into the game for the Mets, so this game is feels like it's essentially over. I would say is essentially over, but I'm on the internet right now, and I don't want to declare the game over. But, oh, my gosh, even with a 2-run lead, I mean, you figure Drew Smith is good facing the top of the order. The human gas can that he is. Yikes. All right, well, the first thing that I want to talk about is Aaron Rodgers' contract. What a fantastic deal it is turning out to be. You know, there were a lot of Packers fans, a lot of football fans, a lot of the mega media types who said, oh, Rodgers would never, ever take a deal. Like, you know, he would never take a team-friendly deal like the Golden Boy, like Tom Brady would. He would never, ever do such a thing. No. The Jets are going to have cap hits of $50 to $60 million every year. Well, the contract just came down. He has renegotiated his deal, a 2-year, $75 million guaranteed contract. Now, that is $75 million in guarantees. Rodgers was scheduled to have $110 million in guarantees coming up. What that means is Aaron Rodgers has basically taken a $35 million pay cut to play for the New York Jets. My mind is not capable of grasping things like this. Aaron Rodgers, one of maybe the 5 greatest quarterbacks who ever lived, took a $35 million contract to play for the New York Football Jets. Cue head spinning emoji. Oh, my goodness. Now, Rodgers is going to get a $35 million roster bonus on July 30th. So that's 4 days as of this recording. Now, his contract is going to be $1.8 million in 2023, then $38.2 million in 2024. There is a non-guaranteed option in 2025 for $37.5 million. And then the last 2 years, 2026 and 2027, those are option years to kind of draw out the cap hit. So those are the option years. It'll also help to minimize the impact of that $35 million cap bonus. You know what's so amazing about this contract to me? You know what? He has a 37.5 average annual value on his contract. That ties him with Derek Carr. And it's amazing because, you know, the 2 quarterbacks the Jets were linked to the most in the offseason were Rodgers and Carr. And it's amazing to me that basically the average annual value for Rodgers and Carr turned out to be the same thing, even though Rodgers is far more accomplished in his career than Derek Carr ever will be. So I am absolutely overjoyed with this contract. I think it is fantastic. It gives the Jets some cap room this season and going forward, because that cap hit was going to be over $100 million in 2024 if the Jets didn't renegotiate. But Aaron Rodgers had to be willing to negotiate, and that's what it's all about. Rodgers had the Jets by the balls, figuratively speaking. He really, really did. But he wants to win, and he wants to be a New York Jet. And that is one of the most amazing, hard-to-grasp concepts that I could possibly have as a sports fan right now. It just tickles me pink. Oh, how I love it. It's just an amazing feeling. So what we're going to do as Drew Smith with his 4.28 ERA comes into the game. He's only allowed 4 home runs. It feels like 400. But it's a 3-1 Yankee lead, bottom of the 7th, and he gets Peraza to pop up on an 0-2 pitch. Very nice. Mark Vientos makes the catch. And I got to tell you this about Mark Vientos. You know, I did my video about the lineup, about the Mets lineup, what I want to see. I posted that yesterday. After the stream, go back and check that video out if you haven't yet. But I would like to see Mark Vientos play every day at bat. I never want to see him in the field. Mark Vientos is a terrible fielder. He's got hands made of stone. He makes 1986 Bill Buckner look like Keith Hernandez. He just is a very awkward fielder. He can hit. Give him the opportunities to focus on his hitting. Let him focus on that, and let's see what he can become as a DH over the final 2 months of the season. because we've seen tonight his defense is a problem. Had a terrible throw that allowed a Yankee runner to take an extra base. So to me, it is not a good idea to have Vientos in the field. So I wanted to get that off my chest as Isaiah Kleiner Falafel is up. It's a 1-2 pitch. Boy, if the Mets are going to make any kind of a run, if they could somehow go, I think it's 8-2 in the 6-2 in these next 8 games tonight against the Yankees, plus the 4 against Washington, plus 3 against Baltimore. If they could do that, they could go 6-2 in those games. They'll be 53 and 55 on the season. And 2 games out of the wild card going like the middle of August, 2 games under 500. I'll take my chances because, a lot of these teams are fading away right now. Philly's on a cold streak. Miami's on a cold streak. San Francisco isn't doing too great. Arizona was a cute story for a while. The National League is just so top heavy right now. It's ridiculous. You've got Atlanta, you've got LA, and then you got a bunch of crap. It's essentially what it is. I mean, if it's not in Atlanta, LA, NLCS come this September going into October, something very, very weird happened. All right, we'll get back to the Mets and Yankees in a moment. But I'm going to talk a little New York Jets here. I want to talk about 3 aspects of the team that I think are going to surprise some people. So the first thing I want to actually talk about is their jerseys. Oh, I love those white throwback jerseys. They look beautiful. I love the numbers on them. Like looking at the one with like the serif on them, as opposed to just the number 1, which looks like a small L on their current white jerseys. Yeah, I think the Jets hit it out of the park. I love the little bit of a darker green with the 80s design. They'll be wearing them week 1 and week 4, and I think they did an absolutely fantastic job with these jerseys. I really, really do. But one aspect of the Jets game that I think is going to be better than people think is their run game, especially running to the right side. Now, here's why I'm going to say this. Mekhibecton is under a lot of scrutiny right now. His knee is acting up a little bit, and he wasn't looking too good pass blocking. Will McDonald and Carl Lawson, both of whom are very good pass rushers. But Becton, here's the thing with Becton. He's always been a better run blocker than he's been a pass blocker. Quick reminder, everybody, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with a friend. Let's get this stream out to as many people as possible. So I think Becton being back in is going to go a long way towards helping this run game. And then if you put him at right tackle, which is where I think he's going to be, and then you have alijahveratucker coming back at right guard. You remember the Super Smash Brothers last year? When the Jets, Becton and AVT were sitting down with Eric Allen with the Jets website and whatnot, talking about we're the Super Smash Brothers. And everybody thought it was going to be Becton left tackle, AVT left guard. Well, you know what? I think this season it's going to change up a little bit. I think it was 2 years ago when that happened. But yeah, this year I think it's going to change up. I think this year it's going to be Becton right tackle, AVT right guard, and I want to see the Jets run the ball to the right side because at left tackle you have duanebrown, better pass blocker, and Lakentomlinson, he's one of those X-Factor Jets where it's really hard to project him because he's been a good left guard in his career going back to his days with San Francisco and even before that. But last year he had a horrible time run blocking. Out of 64 qualified guards last year, okay, Lakentomlinson ranked 59th out of those 64 guards. His run blocking grade was 46.9 on PFF, which is absolutely anemic as the Mets get a inning-ending double play. Gleyber Torres, we're going to go to the top of the 8th, still 3-1 Yankees. Still time for the Mets to come back. Yeah, so I am concerned about Tomlinson and how good he's going to be at run blocking. But you do have Joe Tippmann. I think the Jets want to give Joe Tippmann, the rookie from Wisconsin, every chance they can to win this job. Don't read into the fact that he's taking third-team reps. This coaching staff demands that rookies earn their stripes. Remember last year, Sauce Gardner started on the second team in preseason. Garrett Wilson was not even a starter on opening day against Baltimore. We were watching Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and Lawrence Cager featured in the offense with Joe Flacco throwing them the football. Can't exactly say that it worked out very well. But the thing with Tippmann is he's very, very versatile, okay? He impresses on both running plays and passing plays. He's very powerful, and he's very athletic. So I think he can hold his own very early on in the run game. And here's another factor, the possibility of fullback Nick Bawden returning to the Jets roster. He did not play last season. He was injured all year. Okay? So Bawden is an excellent blocker, and he brings the nasty with him in this game, man. I've always been a fan of Bawden. I don't know if this roster has room for a fullback on it, but I think the Jets want to. They're giving Bawden every chance, and from what they're saying publicly, they're very, very impressed with him. You're hearing it leaked out to the media a little bit, that the Jets are really liking Nick Bawden, and I wonder if he could take the spot of a running back or a tight end on this roster. It's going to be very interesting to see if Bawden is there, but I think he is really going to help that running game. And especially if Breece Hall takes some time to come back, when you have a Bam Knight or a Michael Carter, who are patient and need the holes, because neither is exceptionally powerful where they're going to run a defender over, and they're not lightning fast. They need a little bit of space to really make an impact. And I think Bawden can really have a positive impact in that respect. So that's my first aspect of the Jets team that can surprise is their running game. And it will be Tommy Kahnle coming in to pitch the eighth inning for the Yankees, 2.25 ERA. All right, let's see how that goes. All right, now number 2, this one might surprise you a little bit, but I think the New York Jets pass rush can be even better this year than it was last year. I really do. Last year, the Jets had 45 sacks, which tied them for 7th in the NFL. Nothing to sneeze at there. There's nothing to be disappointed about. But here is the thing that I have a little bit of an issue with. They had a hurry percentage, so that talks about the number of dropbacks the quarterback has versus how many times he faces pressure. The Jets only hurried the quarterback 6.2% of his dropbacks. That's only 20th in the NFL. Translation, there is a lot of room to improve there to generate consistent pressure. So what that tells me is when the Jets got to the quarterback, they knocked him down. Okay, most of the time. So, and here's the other caveat, and this is important as well. Last year, the Jets blitzed only 14.9% of the time. That's the least in the NFL. The idea of this Robert Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich defense, the concept of it is very, very simple. Send 4 guys and have them beat the offensive line, rush the quarterback, and keep 7 defenders back in coverage. So the Jets didn't blitz much last year, and yet they still finished 7th in sacks in the league, but they weren't generating pressure as much as they would have wanted. So now we move over to 2023, and we look at what's changed. The Jets have let Vinny Curry go, the veteran. They drafted rookie Will McDonald from Iowa State. They let Sheldon Rankins go in free agency. They signed Quentin Jefferson from Seattle. Very, very good pass rushing defensive tackle. They let, as far as their defensive tackles go, who's more of the run stopper, they let Nathan Shepard go to New Orleans, I believe, and they signed Al Woods from Seattle. Excellent run stopper. But think, Carl Lawson is 1 year healthier coming off an Achilles tear. Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens are both 1 year smarter going into their second seasons in this defense and their second seasons as pros. Now, John Franklin Myers, he's pretty much a steady force back there. Left practice today with a groin injury, expected to miss a couple of days, but it doesn't appear like it's going to be anything serious. Because one of the things I've been wondering about really is who is going to be that other defensive tackle next to Quinnen Williams, next to number 95? Who's it going to be? Because last year, Rankins could play the pass or the run pretty effectively. He really could do that. But now you've got specialists in place. Jefferson is your pass rusher. Woods is your run stopper. Maybe Solomon Thomas is there, but the less we see of him, to be honest with you, the better. Now, there has been talk about Michael Clemens and the weight that he's put on. There's a chance that he might be moving inside. If he could do it, I would love to see that. I think it would be a great benefit, especially with these pass rushers on the outside, with Lawson, with Bryce Huff, with Will McDonald, with Jermaine Johnson. If you could find a way to slide Clemens on the inside or JFM on the inside, then I think that would really help this defense be that much more dangerous. Okay, and let's be honest about another thing. Jets fans don't want to admit this, but it's true. Last year, there were 5 games out of the 17 when they faced an opposing team's backup quarterback. They were facing Trevor Siemian. They were facing Skylar Thompson, and on we can go. As Pete Alonso strikes out very, very meekly. Wonderful job by Lindor and Alonso. Can't even hit the ball out of the infield. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely a terrible job. So they had the point of this is the Jets had to really upgrade their pass rush this season. When they're going against quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen twice, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson. I think he has to be better by default than he was last year in Denver. Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, you might be a little bit concerned about them too. But the point of it, and we'll see what Tua is. I don't even know if Tua is who knows what the health of Tua is going to be. I am expecting at least one time the Jets are going to face Mike White, Miami's backup quarterback, and their old friend from the last couple of years. But the Jets had to upgrade this pass rush, and that's why the more I think about the Will McDonald draft pick, the more sense it makes. So I think the Jets pass rush can be even better, and I'm glad Joe Douglas went out and addressed it this offseason because I think it was a need that we didn't really think about too much as Jets fans. But the more I think about it, the more I get it. And the third thing, I'm going to talk about the defense as a whole. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to talk more about the run defense on this particular aspect of it. Really, it's the run defense. Now, last year, the Jets had a historic turnaround with their defense. Last year, they reduced their points per game by 11 full points from the previous season. All right, that is the second largest turnaround in the NFL in the last 45 years. So the defense really did a heck of a job, especially when you factor in just how futile the offense was, especially in the second half of the season after Breece Hall went down, after Alijahveratucker went down, once even guys like Corey Davis got hurt and they weren't playing at full strength. Tommy Pham grounds out, and the Mets go down 1-2-3. We head to the bottom of the eighth. Sad, sad, sad. Oh God, Trevor Godd's coming in. Oh my God. Oh my God, Trevor God. Why is he coming in? Trevor God. Oh, Billy Epler. Here's the thing with Billy Epler, guys. I just got to say this. This is a guy who's making trades for relievers like Michael Gibbons. Guys like Trevor God. I mean, what are we really talking about here? Why should I have any confidence that if Billy Epler is going to sell off pieces that he's going to know what he's doing? This is a guy who basically paid $4 million to get rid of Zach Muckenhirn in the Mets minor league system, minor league pitcher, take on Chris Flexen from Seattle just to release him, and they keep the worst pitcher. They keep this guy Trevor Gott because he's controllable next season. I can see why he's controllable because who the hell would want this guy? Oh my God! This ought to be fun. Yeah, I may just have to watch this whole inning and see what actually happens here. All right, but with Jets run defense, yeah, the Jets defense as a whole shed the points per game by 11 from 2021 to 2022. Excuse me. Now, but the one thing with it is they didn't have a great run defense. Okay, the Jets allowed 2,068 yards on the ground in 17 games. Allowed 14 rushing touchdowns. Both of those are about in the middle of the league overall. Now, the difference with that is with the passing game, they allowed the third fewest passing yards with 3,220 and the tied for the fewest passing touchdowns in the NFL. They're actually tied with Houston, believe it or not. Who would have thought that Houston and the Jets led the NFL in fewest touchdown passes allowed, but that's what really happened. But now you throw Al Woods into the mix. He is the best run defender the Jets have had since Foley Fatukasi. He is that good. I'll tell you what, when the opposing offense has a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 2, or they're sitting on the 1 yard line, I'm counting on Big Woods to have a big role in making that stop. I think Al Woods was a great signing. Poona Ford was a defensive tackle that I wanted from Seattle, and it turns out the Jets signed 2 other defensive tackles from Seattle in Quentin Jefferson and Al Woods. So Trevor Gott comes in the game as we transition back quickly to Mets Yankees. He has 0 saves and 4 opportunities. Oh my God. Trevor freaking Gott. All right, here we go. He is pitching to Giancarlo Stanton. What could go wrong here? A swig of water for the working man and woman out there. Stanton 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a foul out, and a ground out. Swung on and missed. And that takes the count to 0-2. 93-mile-an-hour fastball from Mr. Gott. He's wearing number 33, Matt Harvey's number. I got to say, it was pretty good to see Harvey at the game last night with John Franco. Harvey is one of the biggest what could have happened stories, whatever happened to stories really in the history of the Mets. Man, what could have been, what could have been. If it wasn't for injuries and ego, who knows what would have happened. All right, God throws an off-speed pitch out of the strike zone, up and away. It is now a 1-2 count. Mets got a 4-game series coming up against the Nationals at home. See their old friend Dominic Smith. Trevor Williams should be there too. Another slider was well outside of the strike zone. It's grounded to Alonso at first base, and he tosses it over to Gott, who's covering for the first out of the bottom of the 8th inning. All right, so that's one big threat down. Now I believe it's going to be Rizzo coming up here. And I'm going to guess it's Clay Holmes warming up in the bullpen for the Yankees, most likely. Yep, it'll be Rizzo, and then it's going to be Mayhew. So I am pretty excited about the Jets' run defense. I think it's going to be a lot better. And I think when you throw in, I think Quincywilliams just keeps getting a little bit better as time goes on. I really like him. He as long as he can make smart plays and not be an all or nothing player, because there have been too many times when Williams either makes a huge play or just completely whiffs on a tackle. Hopefully with this new contract, he's only going to get better. But I think another addition that's going to help the run defense for the Jets is Jamiensherwood. So Sherwood was drafted 2 years ago. He's been mostly a special teams player, but he's a very good tackler. He finds his way to the ball very, very well. It looks like Canna was actually going to make a catch, but one Mets fan with about a 44-inch waist wearing a 1987 road jersey, Canna's glove hit his fat gut and wasn't able to make the catch, so it's no 2 count. Rizzo with another fly ball. This one to left field. Canna again going towards the line. He had room this time. Doesn't even look at the fan. All right, that's 2 quick outs. All right, Gott looking pretty good so far. Yeah, that is total fan interference. That was Steve Bartman-esque right there. Really was. That was a very Bartman-esque play by that particular fan. So, all right, and now it's going to be DJ LeMahieu. First pitch slider outside, 1 ball and no strikes. And now they're zooming in on the fan with the backwards hat. Yeah, he looks a little bit wasted. Yeah, but yeah, it was it's interesting seeing number 30. I guess the Mets have given out 33 to a whole lot of players, really. But yeah, it's just strange that the numbers just being given away just like that. It's actually pretty funny. The Jets doing the same thing. They trade Denzel Mims to Detroit, and not even 24 hours later, Jermaine Johnson changes his number from 52 to 11. Oh man, yeah, and yeah, Denzel Mims. It'll be very interesting to see what Denzel Mims can do with Detroit. The Lions have some receivers suspended due to gambling, most notably Jameson Williams, and but they've got a very good offense, and they have a fantastic offensive line. Detroit does. Jared Goff, very capable quarterback, can throw the ball well. And you got some good weapons between I think Hawkinson was there. I forgot Hawkinson was traded to Detroit or to Minnesota, but you've got St. Brown there, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe Mims will have that opportunity. But, like I said with Mims, he had multiple quarterbacks, multiple coaching staffs, multiple years. It never worked out. And if he can make something happen for himself when he goes over to Detroit, hey, God bless him. God bless him for it. I do expect him to make the roster, and I do expect the Jets to get that 6th-round pick back from Detroit in 2025. All right, it's a 1-0 count as LeMahieu drew a walk. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning right now. It's 3-1 Yankees. And it is Harrison Bader, who's been a real pain in the neck tonight. 3 for 3, a double and 2 runs scored. Man, oh man. Next pitch, slider that goes right over the plate. He fouls it off. It is 1-2 to Gott. And then in the 9th inning, the Mets will have McNeil, Canna, and Alvarez coming up. Hopefully, Danny Mendick will not get a chance to hit. I'm pretty sure. What's going to be interesting? The Mets got 4 left-handed bats on the bench: Brett Beatty, Omar Narvaez, DJ Stewart, and Daniel Vogelback. If the Mets have an opportunity to pinch hit, who does Buck go to? Does he go to – it's not going to go to Narvaez because he's the backup catcher. That would just be idiotic. But I wonder if Buck goes to Beatty, Stewart, or Vogelback. It's going to be very, very interesting to watch what happens if the Mets can get something of a rally going come the top of the 9th. But first they got to get through the 8th. 1-2 pitch is high. It is popped up on the shallow outfield grass. Mendick makes the catch, and that is it for the 8th inning. We're going to the 9th. Mets down 3-1. It's their last licks. I'm pretty sure that's Clay Holmes coming in. We'll check really quick here. Yeah, number 35. So yeah, that's Clay Holmes. All right, so that's what we're going to be looking at there. So those are the 3 aspects of the New York Jets team that I'm excited about that I think aren't quite getting as much attention as they need to. Now I've got 3 worries I'm going to focus on here. Number 1 is the health of the tackles. duanebrown on the PUP list coming back from rotator cuff surgery. Mekhibecton, he was held out of practice today with knee issues. And the thing with Becton, as we referred to earlier, Becton is a very good run blocking tackle. That's why right now I want him on the right side of the offensive line. I don't want to see him at left tackle protecting Aaron Rodgers' blind side. I don't have the confidence in him yet. He has to prove it, and so far he is not proving it in practice. Robert Saleh said to Mekhibecton through the media, go win the left tackle job. If you're the best, go out and prove it. And we all know, Mekhibecton tweeted it, I am a left tackle, which he immediately deleted. Mekhibecton, let's be honest, he does a better job of blocking Jets fans on Twitter than he does pass rushers. I said it and I mean it, okay? In 2020, I know it was his rookie year, but Becton allowed 23 pressures on 412 pass blocking snaps. So that was a 5.58 pressure rate percentage. That ranked 45 out of 63 qualified tackles. Plus, he allowed 7 sacks. He had a 1.70 sack rate that ranked 2nd worst out of those 63 tackles. Becton has not proven the ability that he is capable of being a lockdown pass blocker. Run blocking, very good. I got a lot of confidence in him, so I want him on the right side of this offensive line. And if he can't play, I'm going to say something, guys. I'm really going to say this. I know the Jets have Billy Turner. I know they have Max Mitchell on his 2nd year. They drafted Carter Warren from Pittsburgh. They got like Yadni Kajust or whatever his name was as a free agent from New England. Hey, if New England lets a player go as a free agent and you've never heard of him, it's a good sign. If Belichick couldn't make it happen with him, then what can you really expect, right? So to me, I would not be shocked if what the Jets do, if Brown or Becton are hurt, I could see them sliding alijahveratucker over to right tackle. I know he's got a higher ceiling at guard than he does tackle, but I could see them moving AVT to the outside, Joe Tippin plays center, and Connor McGovern has some experience at guard. I could see the Jets putting Connor McGovern in at right guard. I know it's a bold idea, but at the end of the day, Robert Saleh said we want our 5 best offensive linemen on the field. And to me, I think right now I got a little more confidence in Connor McGovern playing guard than I might in a Max Mitchell or a Billy Turner playing right tackle. Those are my thoughts. You might think I'm nuts, and hey, that's totally okay. Put it down there in the comments. Yeah, got any questions for me? Got any thoughts, anything I'm saying? Feel free to leave a comment. It's all good. All right, Jeff McNeil up. 0-2 is the count. Clay Holmes trying to throw that sinker to keep the ball on the ground. That sinker breaks well inside. No swing, says the third base umpire, which he called correctly. Okay, so tackle health is one issue I have. I'm going to save, we're in the 9th inning. I'm going to save this other one for a little bit later because this is something I've got quite a concern about, and I'm going to go to it in a little bit more depth. And that pitch hits McNeil on the elbow. It certainly looks like. Umpire called it dead. Buck is looking a little bit miffed from the dugout here. Is this going to count? The way the ball ricocheted off McNeil's elbow pad, it certainly seemed like it hit him, unless they feel like it hit the knob of the bat. All right, we're showing the replay here. Let's see where this ball hits. Oh, you know what? It might have hit the glove. Okay, I think it hit the glove. I think it went up Kyle Higashioka's glove. Yeah, I thought it grazed the elbow pad. I really did. The ball changed direction ever so slightly. I think the ball hit him, but the at-bat continues. They're showing it one more time. I'll tell you, that's a tough call. It's a pretty tough call, but the ball did change direction as it approached McNeil's elbow pad. To me, I think it should have been a hit by pitch, but instead it's a 1-2 count. A big deal to get that leadoff hitter on base, I'll tell you that. McNeil swings and fouls it off, and he looks to be in quite a bit of discomfort. All right, he's adjusting his shin pad. And don't forget, McNeil was drilled right in the back, right on the one by Rodon earlier in this game to the point where it knocked him right down on the ground. So I'm willing to bet McNeil is not exactly feeling 100% right now. He's really choking up on the bat for this swing. 1-2 count, the pitch. Fouls that off his left leg this time, but he seems to be okay, man. McNeil is like the walking wounded tonight. But he's extending this at bat. This is a 7-pitch. This is interesting. It's a 7-pitch at bat so far, yet the count is only 1-2. All right, here's the pitch again. This is where the pitch clock comes in handy. That pitch was well inside. McNeil swung, and he absolutely should not have done that. Grounds out the first, tosses over to Holmes. That was going to be ball 2. Terrible job by McNeil. Very, very disappointing. All right, 1 out. And at this point, it's gonna be, the Mets are going to the bench right now. All right, they're going to take Canna out of the game and put in Brett Beatty. Okay. Hey, I'll take a little bloop and a blast action right now. Yeah. I tell you what, I think that call might have really been missed. I really, really do. I think McNeil really got hit on the elbow. That pitch was a foot inside, and the umpire gives him the strike. 0-1 count to Beatty. Ridiculous. Yeah, we'll stay with the 9th inning. We'll get back to the Jets stuff in just a moment here. Let's see if the Mets can actually pull off some kind of a rally here. There's the sinker, 88 miles an hour. Beatty swings and misses. Man, the other thing with the Mets, they don't even grind out their strikeouts anymore. They got a lot of strikeout-prone hitters on this team. Beatty, chief among them. He's got the highest strikeout rate of anybody on this team. A lot of these do you remember a baseball team that not only strikes out, but constantly strikes out on 3 pitches? It's amazing. 0-2 count. Here we go. Holmes delivers the pitch. That one was in the dirt. Okay. But I can remember Alvarez striking out on 3 pitches in big spots. Alonso, the same thing. And, you can deal with the strikeouts as long as they're, knocking the ball over the fence once in a while. And, of course, Alonso did that last night. But, man, that's frustrating. Here's the next pitch. That's well inside. It is a 2-2 count. It is the top of the 9th inning. Yankees up 3-1 over the Mets. Holmes in the game. Mets have 2 outs left to work with. It's a 2-2 count to pinch hitter Brett Beatty, Francisco Alvarez on deck. Holmes with the pitch. Sinker. Beatty had absolutely no shot at hitting that. For a guy who used to be such a professional hitter, it was like a top 25, top 30 prospect in baseball. I got to tell you, I am very underwhelmed. Now, I'm not going to be one of these nut jobs on Facebook or Twitter said he can't play, send him down to AAA. Beatty's got to be up here the rest of the way. He's got to hit in the middle of the lineup, and he has to learn. Because what good? He's already proved he can hit AAA pitching. What good is sending him down going to do? Reinvigorate his confidence against inferior competition. Alvarez grounds out, and screw this game. An absolute joke. The Mets lose, but hey, whoever thought they were actually going to sweep? So just another typical loss where the Mets absolutely failed to gain any momentum whatsoever. Should we really be surprised? Because I'm not. All right, enough of that. On to the Jets. Let's go back to the Jets. So we're talking, for anybody who are just tuning in, we talked about 3 aspects of the team that I think are going to surprise people, 3 aspects of the team now that I think are going to disappoint people. So we've already gone through the one disappointment, which I think is going to, be the health of the offensive tackles. I've got a concern, though, about covering tight ends. This is the one thing I cannot shake my mind about, and it's why I cannot bear to think that the Jets are going to be a top defense in the NFL. I could see maybe between 5 and 10, but I don't think they're on the level of a San Francisco, of a Buffalo, of maybe even the Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think they're there yet. All right, let's think about this. Think about some of the players the Jets have at linebacker and safety. Quincywilliams, okay? Last year, Williams had 14 missed tackles, 4 were against the run, 10 were against the pass, and those 10 whiffs tied Williams for the most passing game missed tackles of any linebacker in the NFL, okay? He had a 20% missed tackle rate against the pass. That's the highest among 52 linebackers who played at least 300 snaps in coverage. But he also had trouble against tight ends. He allowed about 9.5 yards per attempt to tight ends as the nearest defender. That's the worst mark of any Jets defender. It's the 8th worst amongst all linebackers. Now, by the way, think about some of the linebackers the Jets faced this year. You ever heard of Travis Kelce? Yeah, I think we all have. Dallas Goedert from Philadelphia. You know, the Bills added, they drafted Dalton Kincaid at tight end. They brought him in. The Patriots took Mike Gesicki away from Miami, and they're going to pair him with Hunter Henry. You got to watch out for that as well. Kyle Pitts, he's in Atlanta. Not that he's had a great season, a great career, but it seems like every time he plays the Jets, whether it's preseason or regular season, that's when he seems to succeed. He's like Pat Burrell against the Mets, this guy Kyle Pitts. Darren Waller's on the Giants. You can't leave him out either. So there are a lot of very good tight ends that the Jets are going to have to face this year, and they're going to have to wait to cover it. And that's why I think Chuck Clark's loss to the ACL is so damaging. Okay, so Quincy Williams. Now, we also talked about Jamiensherwood. Now, here's the thing. We talked about what a good tackler Sherwood is, how good he is at getting to the ball. But when it comes to coverage, it's not so good. Sherwood has over 100 coverage snaps in the preseason between 2021 and 2022. Now, in those 100 snaps, he has allowed 11 receptions for 173 yards and a touchdown on 13 targets with no interceptions. So 13 targets, he's allowed 11 catches. He is charged with allowing a 144 passer rating and 1.73 yards per cover snap. So the NFL average for a linebacker would be 103, okay, whereas Sherwood's allowing a 144. And whereas Sherwood's allowing 1.73 yards per cover snap, the average linebacker allows under 0.97. So here's the thing. Sherwood's very smart. He's a very good fundamental player. So you have to hope that that's going to overcome his physical deficiencies. But, you know, he has not had a lot of reps on defense. I think he had less than 25 defensive reps last year. With Quan Alexander not in the fold right now, Sherwood is primed to be the third Jets linebacker on this team, meaning he's going to get a lot of time on defense. So he is going to have to really elevate that part of his game, or he is going to become a villain, for this fan base. So, and I really like Sherwood. I want him to be good, but he has to be used at what he does best. Okay, now let's talk about the safeties for a moment. Jordan Whitehead, the Jets' free agent prize safety from last season. Well, I think every Jets fan has ripped Whitehead to this point. So in 2022, he tied for 6th among safeties. He had 17 missed tackles. A year earlier, while he was in Tampa Bay, he had 15 missed tackles. That was the 9th most in the league. You know, I swear to you, if I have to watch Jordan Whitehead give one more shoulder block tackle like this, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. Okay, and then you have Adrianamos, who was brought over from Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers' old teammate. Now, based off Pro Football Focus's tracking, Amos, over the last 2 years, has been charged with allowing 12 touchdowns. That's the most amongst any safety in the NFL. And he tied for the position lead with 6 touchdowns allowed in each of the last 2 seasons. So I don't have any confidence in the linebackers. I don't have any confidence in the safeties. My only hope is that Tony Adams, who the Jets wanted to keep last year, didn't play him much, but they kept this guy, this undrafted free agent from the University of Illinois, which a school that, by the way, is very good at producing safeties. Tony Adams, if he can cover, that is going to go a long way towards helping this defense. And I'll tell you what, if these guys can't do it, I wonder if you actually use Sauce Gardner now and then to cover a tight end. I mean, I tell you, when it comes to some of these teams like the Giants, like Kansas City, I'm more worried about the tight end than I am any wide receiver that they have on the field. So who knows what's going to happen. But I am very, very worried about tight ends producing against the Jets. Now, there's one more aspect of the team I want to talk about, and as far as where I have a concern, and it's Gregzuerlein kicking field goals of 40 yards or above. Now, the Jets re-signed Zuerlein to a contract. A lot of Jets fans really like Zuerlein. You know, he made the longest kick in team history last year with a 60-yarder, which was great. But here's the thing about Gregzuerlein, okay? He's an accurate kicker under 40 yards, but he has made 88% of his field goals or more only one time in the last 10 years. Okay, let's break this down. 2014, he made 80%. 2015, 67%. 2016, he made 86.4%. In 2017 with the Rams, he was great. He made 95%. Then 2018 went down to 87.1. 2019, 72.7%. Now, He goes over to, I believe, Dallas in 2020. Made 34 of 41, so 82.9%. Now, here's the thing with this. 18 of 18 inside 40 yards. So when Zerlein kicked from 39 yards or less, perfect 18 for 18. From 40 yards and above, 15 out of 22. Then in 2021, he made 29 of 35. That's also an 82.9% rate. Inside 40, he made 20 out of 21 field goals. From 40 and over, he made only 9 out of 14. And then we go to this past season with the Jets. 30 out of 37, only 81.1% of his kicks. So he basically made 4 out of 5 kicks. Okay? He was a perfect 15 for 15 inside 40. Anybody noticing a pattern here? Thought so. And from 40 and over, only 15 for 22. So if you calculate all of this up, okay, let's just talk about the last 3 seasons, because that's a pretty nice sample size. Under 40 yards, he made 98.1% of his field goals. From 40 yards and above, only 67.2. Basically, he made 2 out of 3 field goals from 40 and up. Now, again, I know he's got a great nickname. I know he made the longest kick in franchise history last year. It's all good. I get it. But the Jets are going to be having a lot of close games this year against good teams. There's going to be a lot of situations possibly where the Jets, in the last 5 minutes of a game, they're going to have to kick a big field goal to tie the game. They might have to kick a field goal to make a 1-score game a 2-score game, where the other team is going to have to go down the field and score a touchdown as opposed to just kicking a field goal. Maybe it's to win a game on the final play. Am I confident Gregzuerlein's going to make the kick? I'll tell you what, if it's 40 yards and over, you have reason to be concerned about it. So those are 3 areas of concern that I have as far as the New York Jets go as well. Feel free to put your comments down there as well. Tell me what you think. And we're gonna wind it down in a little bit, but I'm just gonna ask everybody, indulge me for one moment. There's something that I just really want to celebrate that's happening in my local sports world down in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. You might be wondering, hey, what is that beautiful T-shirt you're wearing with the nice blue Lionsbridge? What is this shirt you're wearing tonight? What's Lionsbridge? So Lionsbridge FC is our local football/soccer club that for Hampton, Newport News, and York County, Virginia. So here's the thing. They are going to be playing Friday night in the USL2 Eastern Conference Finals, the United States Soccer League. It's the highest-ranking amateur soccer league in the country. This is also going to be the national quarterfinals. So they're in the Elite 8 out of 122 teams. And their opponent, this is pretty fun for me, is going to be the Ocean City Nor'easters from Ocean City, New Jersey, just south of Atlantic City. Now, the game is going to be in Newport News, Virginia, on the campus of Christopher Newport University at Town Bank Stadium. And if Lionsbridge wins that game, it's on to the national semifinal Sunday night against either the Villages of Summerfield, Florida, or Little Rock, Arkansas. And that game is also going to be in Newport News, Virginia. We're just very blessed that we're able to host these rounds of the playoffs. Quick shout out here to David Gerard. Miss John Wacky Wednesday. You know what, David? Hey, I'm still here on Wednesdays. You can still see me. I'm not going anywhere. This channel is not going anywhere either. Some people would, much to some people's disappointment. And no, but seriously though, I've got a lot of supporters and a lot of people who are backing me up and have supported me and are watching the videos, and I really do appreciate it. I tried to pick a time. Let me put it this way. I tried to pick a time that I felt would be fair. And as it turns right now, due to certain life circumstances that are not mine, right now it's conflicting with other shows. So, hey, whether you're watching live or going back and watching the stream later, you are valued, you are appreciated, and I thank you for that. But real quick with the soccer, so 32 teams out of 122 make the playoffs. A lot of these guys are going to get drafted. They're going to have a chance to go to Major League Soccer or USL Championship or USL 1. So this USL 2, it's really Class A baseball, high A baseball. We got John Post. Hey, man, hope you had a good live stream, man. Disappointing finish to tonight, but like I said, do we really think the Mets were going to sweep the Yankees in the Bronx? Because I really didn't. I really, really didn't. But here's the thing with USL 2. No matter where you live, I bet you got a team within 30 minutes of you. They've got teams in Morristown, New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey, Metuchen, New Jersey, which is essentially where I grew up as a kid. Okay, New Rochelle, New York, Hempstead, Long Island. And by the way, Ocean City beat the Long Island Rough Riders to advance to this round. They got teams in Brooklyn, Manhattan, all over the country and in Canada as well. And my home team's in the Elite Eight. And I got to tell you, I've worn this shirt a lot at those games. I've been to a lot of games. I've worked security, all 5'8", 182 pounds of me. Very, very intimidating, as you can tell. I usually just wear a Mets hat or a Jets hat. They know not to screw with a New York native. You know how it is, right? But scanning a lot of tickets, eating a whole lot of Papa John's pizza because the truth is Papa John's is a sponsor, and that's what we get to eat. I've eaten so much Papa John's at this point, I feel like I feel less Italian by the week for every slice that I eat. Let's see. We got some people jumping in as well last night. Jets Mess. Thanks for stopping by for a little bit. I absolutely appreciate it. Man, y'all came by right at the end of the show. But we spent a lot of time talking Mets Yankees. We live streamed it, talked a little bit about Saquon We talked about the Noah Syndergaard for Ahmed Rosario trade that broke. I talked a little bit about the Aaron Rodgers contract, of course, and we definitely spent some time breaking down the Jets, so definitely feel free to go back and watch it. Now, as Robert mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm going to bring this comment back up. The reason you might be wondering, what is the background that I've got going on here? I'm in Cary, North Carolina. I'm actually sitting right now in the original home of the Wicker chair. My mom is having a very serious surgery tomorrow, so I'm down here to be with her, and I'll be down here for about a week to support her, help her with whatever she may need. So prayers, positive vibes, all of it would be very, very much appreciated. You know what I think we're going to do here? We've got a decent number of people here in the chat now. I think we're going to do a little bit of trivia. Is anybody down for some trivia tonight? Because this is the place you're going to get trivia from now on, and I still love doing the research and bringing it to you because this is the place to get it. Thanks, Jets Mess. I got to tell you, I feel pretty confident that she's going to be okay. She's tough. She's a fighter. She's been through a lot. I really think she's going to be okay. Lee's good people. The answer should always be Lee Cravat. Lee's a good guy. All right, I'm going to give you guys a Jets trivia question here. All right, and then we'll give you a couple of minutes to come up with an answer. So your question tonight is this. Name the 3 quarterbacks that the Jets have drafted who have at least 3,000 career pass attempts. Okay, the Jets have drafted 3 quarterbacks who have attempted at least 3,000 passes in the NFL. Can you name all 3? Hey, K. Eddie, thoughts and prayers, bud. I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate your support, man. My family appreciates it too, for sure. Yeah, I put a post up on Facebook, got over almost 150 responses. It was very gratifying to see that. People do care. People can be very compassionate for sure. Because hey, we all go through our tough times, no doubt about it. Kiyeti, with us or total 3,000 career pass attempts in the NFL, not necessarily just with the Jets. Okay, Jets Mess says Joe Namath, Ken O'Brien, and Geno Smith. Okay, Joe Namath is okay. Joe Namath is definitely correct. I'm going to wait for a couple of other people to put their guesses in as well, and then I'll let you know. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it, brother. Okay, K-Yeti. Let's see here. I think we need to double check this one thing. Oh, you know what? It's 4. My bad. You know what? You got me on that one. It was actually 4. Yep. Brett Favre is 1. Okay. Joe Namath is 1. Yeah. Favre had I think had about 10,000, if I remember correctly. Joe Namath had 3,762. So he is correct. I see Ken O'Brien. He had 3,602. So he's third. He's the third one. And then there's one other quarterback. Can you name that 4th quarterback? It is not Geno Smith. Yeah, Geno was a backup for a long, long time. Yeah, I'll look up the Geno list the Geno one right now. Career attempts. Yeah, I'm going to double check Geno here. I want to make sure I've got this one right. Yeah, Geno has only 1,578 up to this point. Yeah, he has. Geno has only 3 seasons where he's attempted over 100 passes. His first 2 with the Jets and last year with Seattle. Johnny, okay, we got a few. Yeah, I wish it was Chad, but no, 2004 71. You know, Chad's my guy. It's not him. Okay, Johnny Jimenez, what was the question again? Name the 3 quarter. Oh, you know what? It's not Brett Favre. I take it back. It is not Brett Favre because he was not drafted by the Jets. So the key is name the 3 quarterbacks the Jets drafted with at least 3,000 career attempts. So Namath was 1, O'Brien was 2, but it's not Brett Favre. They didn't draft him. And Kayetti, the Jets obviously did not. I think Tampa Bay drafted Vinny Testaverde first overall out of Miami. Okay, so one other quarterback the Jets drafted with at least 3,000 career pass attempts. So we got Namath, we got O'Brien, and we know it's not Pennington. So who else is it? Yeah, we got a nice number of the show. Quincy Carter. Of course it's Quincy Carter. I don't know if Quincy Carter had 3,000 minutes as a Jet, to be honest with you. Another swig of water for all Jets fans watching. Yeah. Okay, drafted. That's the key word. It was like I knew if I did this question, I couldn't have forgotten Brett Favre. That would have been embarrassing. But yeah, Brett Favre, he should have been drafted by the Jets. But you know, when Ron Wolf was still here and they wanted to move up 1 or 2 spots with Atlanta, and they couldn't pull off the trade, and Atlanta takes Brett Favre right before the Jets select the immortal Browning Nagel. Browning Nagel. Unbelievable. Also, one of the few Jets quarterbacks ever to wear number 8, by the way. Aaron Rodgers will be following in not very respected company. All right, guys, it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna give you about I'll give you 2 more minutes. I'll wait till my clock hits 10:02, and then we're gonna give the answer away, and I think we're gonna call it a night. Johnny Jimenez thinks it's Mark Sanchez. Nope, Mark Sanchez had 2,320 pass attempts, so it is not Mark Sanchez. Not Sanchez. It's not Pennington. It is not Zach Wilson. It is not Kellen Clemens. Oh, Vervain's here. Hey, man. Okay, here was the trivia question. Name the 3 quarterbacks the Jets have drafted who have at least 3,000 career pass attempts in the NFL. So Joe Namath is 1, 3,762. Kenny O'Brien is 2nd with 3,602. Who is the 3rd quarterback? This is like the NWO. Who's the 3rd man? They've got to tell us who the 3rd man is right now. Who's the 3rd man? All right, we've had, let's see, we had Sanchez guess, we've had Pennington guess. Neither of those were correct. Yeah, so we got 8 people in the chat right now, guys. It's I'm going to give about 1 more minute. There is one, I will say this, there is one answer that is incorrect that I'm very surprised has not been guessed yet. So y'all guessed number 1, 2, 5, and 6, but the 3rd and the 4th have not been mentioned yet. Johnny Jimenez says Richard Todd. Richard Todd is just short. Richard Todd had 2,967 career pass attempts. Isn't that unbelievable? J. Cole, I haven't seen him in a while, assuming it actually is J. Cole. Yeah, hope you're doing well, man. I'm sorry if you had a falling out with him. Yeah, things happen. Hey, unfortunately, you try to keep your friends as long as you can, but, certain things happen in life, and some, hopefully some things can come back together one day. You never know. Crazy things happen. Ryan Fitzpatrick was not drafted by the New York Jets. So it's not Fitzpatrick. Ravain says Ken O'Brien. Yep, Kenny O'Brien was right. He was the number 2. Yep, we've already mentioned that. Thanks, J. Cole. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. Johnny Jimenez says Ray Lucas. No, wasn't Ray Lucas. Ray Lucas, Ray Lucas wasn't really a starter, He was a starter for like half a season with us. But, yeah, let's see. Ray Lucas, I'm going to look that one up real quick, just for fun. Ray Lucas, wow. Ray Lucas had 483 career pass attempts. That's it. Yeah, he had 1999 had 272 attempts. In 2002, his last year in the league with Miami, 160. Outside of that, almost nothing. Yeah. All right, so it is not him. It was not Ray Lucas. I'll give you a hint. He did not have his prime. Wow, we're peaking at 10 o'clock. Maybe I should start the show at 10 o'clock from now on. I don't know. But, yeah, we're peaking right now. This is awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you guys dropped in.
Jets are going to be beasts this year. I sincerely hope so. Hey, there's things I'm excited about, things I'm concerned about. We talked about those earlier tonight. After we're done, feel free to go back and watch the stream. And I definitely talked about that. We also talked about the Aaron Rodgers contract, talked a little baseball as well. Tonight was really a baseball football show. When you're in late July, it's pretty much getting ready for training camp, and it's the dog days of baseball. That's pretty much all there is to talk. I may even have to talk some Ryder Cup come September. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to do that. But we'll start doing some NFL previewing pretty soon. I think once the exhibition games really get rolling, we'll start to maybe break down some divisions. We'll make preseason predictions and all that fun stuff. All right, guys. Anybody else have a guess on who the other quarterback is? Let's go Alex Morgan. Hey, yeah, she's easy on the eyes. Hey, great talent as well. No doubt about it. Yeah, I'm definitely more into the Men's World Cup. I just prefer when it doesn't get quite so heavy on the outside stuff. Just respect your country, respect the flag. You know what? Just respect the flag. We're not asking too much, guys. We're not. Okay, we'll be the best show on at 10 p.m. Wednesday nights. Well, from what I understand, the other show was changed hours a little bit to accommodate the Nick's schedule, which is fine. I mean, with his situation, they're doing that show when they can, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't take that personally at all. There's room for everybody. And of course, we all want to support each other. We're all on the same team, right? I like to think. Got to be pre-90s. You know what? You're about the right era, Yeti. You're right. It's right around that era, right around the 1990s when this guy peaked. I'll look one thing up here for you. I really have the confidence that you guys can get this. I really do. But he did not. I'll tell you this. He only threw. All right. Here's the thing. He threw 3,241 passes, and only 9 of them were his New York Jets. As a New York Jet, I should say. He played with, I'm going to give you the team, Cincinnati, that was his prime. Played with New Orleans, Baltimore, Arizona, Philadelphia, and Chicago. Played with all those teams. It's not Pat Ryan. No, this guy. This guy was 90s, early 2000s. All right, I'm going to give you one more moment. But again, he did peak with the Bengals. No, it's not Boomer. Boomer was drafted by the Bengals, not by the Jets. This guy kind of came into Cincinnati shortly after Boomer left. It was David Klingler who succeeded Boomer Esiason. This is the guy who really took over the starting job. Tim Tebow, exactly. Good man. Tim Tebow's a good man. Not a good thrower of the football, but good man. Vervain got it. It was Jeff Blake. Jeff Blake was drafted by the New York Jets many moons ago, right? And he only threw 9 passes as a New York Jet. Didn't play at all in 1993. 1994, went over to Cincinnati, took over the starting job, and he was their starting quarterback for years. Even made the Pro Bowl in 1995. The Jets drafted him in the 6th round of the 1992 draft, and he left the Jets and went on to many bigger and better things. So Vervain, the Devils fan, got it. All right, good job, guys. I know it's very hard to remember the Jets drafted him. Yeah, I'm trying to give questions that are decently hard, but not as hard as the ones I would have given on a Thursday night. Because when you have 300 people in the chat or whatever, there's a lot more people to guess. So yeah, without Curly Norman and guys like that around, I'm trying to make them a little bit more manageable for the show. But the more people we have, the harder we'll make it. Sorry if you touched on already. What do you think we cleared all the cap space for? Quan and Cook probably, but I have a feeling there's something much bigger. David, here's the thing. What would be the bigger thing that we're setting it up for? Like, is there a certain position? Are we looking to make a trade for something? Because Quan makes some sense. I think the Jets would bring Quan back if they don't have confidence in Zaire Barnes and Jamiensherwood. Though they will bring Quan in. I think Quan's just waiting for an opening somewhere, waiting for an injury. The more I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking Dalvin Cook is coming to the Jets. I think there's something to that. Not that I think the Jets need a running back. I almost even wonder if the Jets would bring back George Fant. I mean, because to be honest with you, if Becton is hurt and Brown's on the pup list, do you really have confidence in a starting offensive tackle, Billy Turner at left tackle and Max Mitchell on the right side? I mean, it's like I said earlier tonight. I would not be shocked if the Jets at some point move alijahveratucker to right tackle. I know they don't want to do it, but if the key is to put the 5 best offensive linemen on the field at a given time, and Robert Saleh has said that, he has absolutely said that, I have more confidence in Connor McGovern playing right guard than I do at a Max Mitchell or somebody like that playing right tackle. That's how I'm feeling right now. Take Fant back different. Hey, if he's willing to come in for like $1 million and compete for a job to be insurance, then hey, God bless him. I think this is another situation where he's waiting for an injury, because I think Fant's going to be looking to start, get a 1-year deal, and then cash in and have a contract year. David Garrard, I'm an NFL conspiracy theorist who thinks it'll be Davante Adams. I don't see the Raiders trading. What would it cost the Jets to get Davante Adams? I think it would be a lot. The Raiders, I think, really need a lot right now. I think the Raiders are headed for last place in this division. I don't have a lot of confidence in that team. I think it was I think they just brought in a defensive back to help with that secondary, because I got to tell you, I think their secondary is terrible. But I think that as much as the Packers wanted for Rodgers, I think the Raiders are going to ask more, because it's in the same conference. The Jets played the Raiders this season. Why would the Raiders give Davante Adams to the Jets? To me, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Johnny Jimenez, bring back Mangold. I got both barbecue sauces at home, and they're fantastic. No question about it. All right, let's see who else. Hank G's dropping by. What's up, Hank? Good to see you, man. I appreciate you coming by and supporting. David Garrard, full-blown conspiracy. Davante demands out to the Jets. Maybe get back to Yari. Those are 2 different teams. Sounds pretty good, but I don't think the Packers are going to want to help the Jets any more than they already have. I think we're done with trades for the foreseeable future. I really, really do. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe something at the trade deadline if there's an injury or something like that, but I think we pretty much have the team, aside from maybe signing Dalvin Cook, if they don't believe that Brees is going to be a full go early on. Because I'll tell you what, building up that early chemistry is going to be very important. And I know Rodgers to Wilson's going to be great. He knows Lazard and all that kind of stuff. But you still want to have a very good running game early on against some of these really good teams that are coming up. I don't want Micah Parsons rushing the passer and all of that. The Bills have a lot of good pass rushers. Between Rousseau, they signed Leonard Floyd, and Oliver is very scary. So the Jets better be able to run the ball early. And if Breece Hall isn't ready to go early on, you can make a very good argument for Dalvin Cook. You really could. It depends what he's willing to take though on that contract, and I don't know what it's going to be. Yeah. Just remember, Johnny, everything's got momentum when it's going downhill. Yeah, I hear these things like, the Mets beat the Yankees. This is going to be their start for making their playoff run. You know what's just so freaking frustrating? I'll tell you what really pisses me off even more than that regarding the Mets. All these other wild card teams are going through slumps right now. Florida, San Francisco, Philadelphia struggled a little bit. Arizona's coming back down to earth. And the Mets just cannot go on a sustained run. I'm not talking 6 in a row. I'm talking 9 out of 10. I'm talking sweeping 2 to 3 series in a row. And they have just shown no capability of doing that. If they get a good pitch game, they don't hit. They get a good hit game, they don't hit. They don't pitch. And you can't count on this defense. And I screamed about this. If you watch my video that I put up about the Mets yesterday about my ideal lineup for them, I'm fine playing Mark Vientos, but I never want to see him in the field. I don't want to see a glove on that guy's hand unless it's a freaking batting glove. Ever again. He can't play defense. Let's get rid of everyone. Buy Max, buy Verlander. Who's taking the contracts? That's the thing. And here's the thing. You get rid of Max, you get rid of Verlander. Who are you getting to pitch next season? Are you taking the risk Ohtani's actually going to come? Are you going to sign Aaron Nola? Is he going to come here? So the Mets don't. Here's the thing: the Mets don't exactly have a lot of prepared starting pitchers ready to come up. They got some guys in Double-A. You got the Christian Scotts, you got the Mike Vassils. He's in Triple-A. You've got Dominic Hamill. You got Calvin Ziegler, but these guys aren't ready for the big stage yet. And that's one of the reasons they signed Max Scherzer. That's why they signed Justin Verlander, is because they didn't have pitching. They were failing on their pitching. We talked about this the other week when I went through all the depth of the Mets drafting over the last 10 years, especially with pitching, and how it has failed, how it has failed miserably. The best starter that they've drafted is David Peterson in the last 10 years. I said it, that they actually kept. So, yeah, it is very, very frustrating. But again, you get rid of them. Number one, you got to absorb. You're taking on all that money just to get a very average prospect. I'm not willing to do that. I mean, Baltimore could use a starting pitcher. They got a $60 million payroll at the most. You think they're taking on Max Scherzer's contract? I don't think so, man. I really don't. We take Cook, but I really believe in Bam Knight. I think he'll be a very solid number 2 back for the Jets once Brees returns. Yeah, I like Bam also. I like him a lot. I particularly like that he went to NC State, and I am right now, where I sit, I'm about 20 minutes away from the campus of NC State. But Bam is one of those running backs who needs a good offensive line in front of him. You know, he started off very good, but as the offensive line came apart, the whole running game came apart. So, yeah, Bam could be a very good, useful, productive running back. I don't think he's necessarily special, but I think he could be a very valuable piece. But the better this offensive line is, the better Bam Knight is going to be, because he's going to need that line to do it. And that's why it's so important that Becton plays and that he's healthy, because he is a mauler in the run game. Let's see what else y'all are saying tonight in the chat. Hank G, wouldn't you think JD would want to stay away from the potential baggage that Cook brings with him? I would say probably, but I think these incidents, from what I hear, they're a couple of years old at this point. So, and you know, I know that the Patriots are looking into this as well, and I'm actually surprised Buffalo didn't go into it. You know, now that they lost Nyheim Hines, I thought it would have made sense, but they signed some other running back that I'd never even heard of, to be quite honest. But Dalvin Cook, so it was a domestic violence filed by his ex-girlfriend in November of 2021. So again, there's always two sides to the story. You never know what the actual truth is. But you know, we're gonna see what winds up happening there. Just reading some quick notes on that about Cook offering money to make the incident go away, and then she would not do it. The police were never called in November of 2021. Cook is not facing any legal charges. That's important. But as we see with the NFL, you never know what they will suspend a player for. You know, they'll suspend a guy for gambling for a year. Domestic violence, big deal. Slap on the wrist. That seems to be their history. But they have suspended players who have not been convicted of a crime before. And typically, if it's physical violence, though, seriously, the standard suspension has been about 6 games. That seems to be what we've seen most often. Okay, so we'll see. But I definitely believe that Joe Douglas would do his due diligence with the NFL to find out, hey, is Cook going to be suspended? Because if he's suspended for 6 games, he's coming back when Brees is probably already healthy. And at that point, what's really the point? Johnny Jimenez, I think the Norfolk Tides can beat the Norfolk's got a good team. Norfolk's on their way to the playoffs, man. Yeah, I'm excited. They won the first half in the Eastern Division, so yeah, I'll definitely get down to Harbor Park for a playoff game. I hope it's Norfolk versus Durham. It's definitely not going to be Syracuse. The Syracuse Mets stink this year, but Norfolk versus Durham would be a lot of fun. What is it, homeboy? Are you breaking balls tonight? Hey, we're just doing the show the best we can and having a great time. And yeah, as the chat's filled up around the 10 o'clock hour, it's like, hey, y'all came in, so hey, why shut it down? Yeah, why not stay with it? Irv Charles or Jason Brown, like Johnny Jimenez asked. I want to say Jerome Cap. That's who I really want to root for. I love his athleticism, love his length, but I haven't really heard anything from him in training camp. It's been all Jason Brownlee. And I'll tell you what, I never thought Denzel Mims was going to make the roster anyway, so I was glad they traded him to open up a roster spot for another wide receiver. Because think about it. You have Garrett, you have Lazard, you have Corey Davis, you got McCole Hardeman, you've got Randall Cobb. That's 5 wide receivers. There's only room for one more wide receiver on this roster, really. And I really hope, and I have all the confidence in the world in Aaron Rodgers to elevate any receiver's game. Look at the history of some of the players Aaron Rodgers has thrown touchdown passes to. You know, guys you thought would have been popcorn vendors or security guards, but Aaron Rodgers gave them a little moment in the sun. But you hear a lot of great things about Jason Brownlee, and I'll tell you what, once we watch the first exhibition game a week from tomorrow, I believe it is, I think we'll have a much better feel on what these guys look like, because we can hear all the practice reports in the world, but until you start seeing players in an actual game wearing pads, that's important for a wide receiver. It's hard to really say. But yeah, Charles Brownlee, but I'm also watching Jerome Cap. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see what happens there. Thank you. I definitely appreciate you coming by and watching and giving your support. Thank you, Robert. Did we talk about the Mets, Knicks, and Rangers? Now, no basketball or hockey on this show. July is really the doldrums for those two sports. We definitely spent some time talking baseball. We watched the last couple of innings of Mets Yankees together. We watched that defeat. I also talked about the Noah Syndergaard for Ahmed Rosario trade that went down. So, yeah, for those who didn't hear, Cleveland traded Ahmed Rosario to the Dodgers in exchange for Noah Syndergaard. So, two ex-Mets premium prospects traded for each other. Pretty amazing trade, and how the mighty have fallen. Yes, please hit that like button. Thank you very much, and also don't forget to share with a friend who might like the channel. Anybody who likes New York sports or just plain flat out ramping. You never know. Next 7, Washington and Kansas City. Stop worrying. Washington's at the end of the season. Kansas City's week 5, I believe. So we're just. Okay, so I'm just going to explain this to our friend here who is a Cowboys fan. As Jets fans, we don't know any other way but worrying. And as a New York Rangers fan, as I know that you are, you know a lot about worrying yourself. So just apply the same principle. The lack of the wicker chair, the show must go on. Yes, Grandizer, but we are in the spot of the legendary Mother's Day Marathon from 14 months ago, May of 2022, when we went 6 hours. And I was sitting in the wicker chair. Right now I'm in the leather chair. But the spirit of the wicker chair, I feel it in the room tonight. You heard Kuntz is showing out in training camp. I definitely hope so. You know, we know he can run. He's got amazing vertical, all that good stuff, incredibly strong. But at the end of the day, he's got to be able to run a pass pattern right. He's got to stay healthy. And he's got to be able to catch the football. If you can't do those 3 things, you're not going to last very long. And I'll tell you what, with this roster as full as it is, Kuntz is going to have to earn his way on this roster. There's no way around it. Believe me, he went to Old Dominion University. I am absolutely rooting for him. I want this guy to be the greatest tight end the Jets have ever had. I want him to glue C.J. Uzomah to the bench. I think Ty Conklin's going to have a heck of a year. I think he's going to be the number 1 tight end. But if the Jets' top 3 tight ends this year were Conklin, Ruckert, and Kuntz, I would be thrilled. I would be absolutely thrilled by it. But yeah, you got to prove it. Behave in the leather chair. Yes, I actually assembled the leather chair. So yes, I definitely respect the leather chair. Quick swig of water. Yeah, if you guys get any other questions or if you got any other comments, yeah, the rest of the show is yours. Yeah, we'll stay on for as long as people want to. I do have to get up at about 4:30 in the morning though. But yeah, we'll get through it. Johnny wants another trivia question. Well, all right. Yeah, I can find another trivia question here. Let's see. I'm trying to think here. We did a Jets question. I wonder if I should go with maybe a Mets question here. If you like. You know what? I'm going to make one change here real quick. Now that we got a bunch of Jets fans here, let's switch the brand over to green. How about that? So yeah, we got the green going on right now. It's not easy being green. WATCHALONG, is there a 2023 Jets rookie undrafted free agent you are really rooting for to make the team? Jerome Cap. I would love to see him make this team. You know, the small school undrafted guy. I would love to see him make it. As far as defense goes, I've got 2 guys in mind. Trey Dean, the safety out of Florida. A lot of people talking about him. I feel like the fans are more talking about him. I haven't heard any reports about how he's looked in training camp. Haven't seen anybody in the media mention him. But the other guy I'm really looking at, because I feel this team needs help at linebacker, is Claudine Cherilus, the linebacker. I think the Jets need some help at linebacker. I think there's a spot for one on this team. And let's see what winds up happening there. But Cherilus is a player who I'm going to be watching in the Hall of Fame game. I got to actually tell you, I'm pretty excited. We, the Virginia Jets fans, we are going to be watching the Hall of Fame game with the Tidewater Browns backers. So I may take some pictures. Maybe I'll even record a little bit of video. I would go live, but it's going to be so noisy in there that you would be able to. it would sound like a lot of static, but I will take some video because it's going to be Jets fans and Browns fans coming together for the Hall of Fame game next Thursday. So yeah, I think I'll probably post some photos. I'll make a video about it when I give my thoughts on the game. So yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I'm going to do a video about the Hall of Fame game, and I'll tell you some stories about the Jets Browns fans. So yeah, Cherilus and Cap, those are the two guys, and Trey Dean. Hank G, thoughts on the 53? Who could be a surprise cut? Who could stay on? I think Hamza Nasruddin, linebacker, is very prone to getting cut. That's one. See, I don't have all my notes that I usually have, so I'm just kind of rolling with everything the best that I can here. So, oh, Johnny says it's a 1-1 soccer game. Oh, I didn't even know we were losing. Okay, cool. Who could be a surprise cut? I would have said Michael Carter, but he seems to be playing pretty well, which I'm very encouraged by. I can't go anyone with defensive line. I think the Jets take 10 defensive linemen. I think that's pretty much cut and dry. I think Bryce Hall stays. I think Bryce Hall's going to hang around for a little bit, especially while Brandon Echols is suspended. I think a lot of people have Bryce Hall as a potential cut. I think Hall stays around for a little bit longer, and I think this is his this is pretty much his last chance. And he's one of the last chances to save that first draft class because, man, it is not looking good. It's pretty much up to Becton and it's up to Hall. Those are the only pieces that are really left. Grandizer, what is the shirt you're wearing? Is it the Detroit Lions? No, we talked about this just before you came on. Lionsbridge Football Club. This is Lionsbridge Soccer, based out of Newport News, Virginia, where I'm from. It is my local soccer team, and we are in the Elite Eight, which we are hosting this weekend. We're facing Ocean City, New Jersey in the national quarterfinals, the Eastern Conference Finals. There are 122 teams in the USL2, United Soccer League 2, highest amateur soccer league in the country. So if Lionsbridge wins, then they against Ocean City, New Jersey, they then face the winner of the Villages, which is out of Summerfield, Florida, or Little Rock, Arkansas. That's the Southern Conference Championship. And the following week will be the National Championship. So like I said, unfortunately, I can't go to the games this weekend because I'm down here in North Carolina. But, priorities, we have to do what we have to do. Family's got to come first, right? 1-1. Where's it going to be at? If you mentioned the game, it's going to be at Christopher Newport University, Town Bank Stadium, which is their football stadium. It's about 10 minutes from where I live. And I've worked security there this year. I've worked tickets. I volunteered, actually. I don't get paid jack. You know how they pay me? In Papa John's pizza slices. And here's the cool thing. Every time Lionsbridge scores a header goal, if they score a goal off a header in a game, everybody gets a free Chick-fil-A sandwich or 8-piece chicken nuggets. How cool is that? So I may have an extra Chick-fil-A card or two in my wallet. I may not. Oh, that was the Mets next 7. Yeah, Washington. Okay. Yeah. They better sweep Washington. Did I see Tom Grossi visit the Jets for a St. Jude house? I did not, but Grossi is a very, very funny guy. Yeah, I definitely find him entertaining. Tom Grossi's live reaction to Jordan Love getting drafted by the Packers is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And now that he's actually starting, it's going to be interesting to see how that ages. Vervain, who do I see? I'm going to try to pull up a trivia question here. Oh, no about the Hall of Fame game. It's in Canton, Ohio. I'm just kidding. The game's in Ohio, Johnny. No, seriously, we're going to watch the game at a bar called Sneaky Pete's in Virginia Beach. So the Jets fans and the Browns fans are going to come together to watch it. Those Browns fans, I got to tell you, they are everything you would envision a Cleveland Brown fan is. Scruffy, the deep voice, like they smoke 20 packs of cigarettes a day. Yeah, you can tell they are hardworking and they are blue freaking collar all the way. Who do I see starting at left and right tackle? I think duanebrown, as long as he's healthy, it is his job to lose. And I don't think they're going to give Becton the left tackle job because until he could show that he could pass block, he's not going to be in that spot. And we talked about this a little bit earlier. One of my concerns with this team is the health of the tackle position. Not only Becton's rotator cuffs, Brown's rotator cuffs and Becton's knee, but you have to factor in Max Mitchell's coming back from blood clots. How healthy is he? Billy Turner, he's okay. I feel like Billy Turner's like George Fant version 2. Okay tackle, but not maybe a franchise guy. I think there is a chance Max Mitchell could win the job. I consider it an outside shot. I think if other players are hurt, it will open up the opportunity for him. I tell you what, Max Mitchell was not supposed to play last year. It was supposed to be a redshirt season for him. And I felt with the lack of experience and lack of size he had, I thought he played about as well as we could have expected him to play. I should consider 10 p.m. You know what? At this rate, it may be an option. We'll see. I don't want to keep moving everything back and forth. And to be honest, it's kind of fun doing a live stream. But yeah, I did it at 9 p.m. because for obvious reasons, I didn't want to conflict with other particular shows. But yeah, if the folks want me to do 10 p.m., then yeah, I don't think that's a problem. Do you know you support soccer? Any European club you cheer for? No, not really. I root for the USA. I root for Italy internationally. I do like Argentina as well because I did visit Argentina. I purchased a jersey over there. I mean, those are the three countries I root for. With the soccer, yeah, it's just our local team because where I live, it's really too small to have a professional team. I mean, Norfolk, we've got the Norfolk Admirals in hockey, but we're now East Coast Hockey League, which is 2 levels below the NHL. We're affiliated with the Carolina Hurricanes. And and then we have the Norfolk Tides, who, of course, used to be with the Mets. Now they're with the Orioles, and they're having a fantastic season. And even with MLS, I mean, I rooted for Portland for a little bit, the Portland Timbers, but that lasted a couple of years. I don't know. I just prefer that. Let's keep sports. I go to sports to get away from the real world. I don't want to go too much further into it, but I just want to go to sports and not talk about issues of the world. Is that the fair way to say it? That's kind of how I feel. Yeah, Johnny Menez will be at Sneaky Pete's. All right, Sneaky Pete's. Yeah, because Johnny lives in Virginia just like me. Okay. New York Jets news. Zach Wilson's stellar day at Jets camp includes long touchdown throw. Jets fans are asked, doesn't matter. Do they care? It's all about Rodgers. You know what, Zach Wilson's. I think there's only going to be 2 quarterbacks on this roster. I don't think Tim Boyle makes the roster. So, hey, I expect Zach Wilson to play most of the Hall of Fame game, at least the first half. Zach Wilson should play the first half because do we need to see do we need to see Chris Streveler? I mean, unless you're Tony Alexio, do you need to see Chris Streveler on the field? It would be fun to watch, but I hope Zach gets a good amount of time in the preseason because, he can't have enough reps. Newcastle United. I have had the brown ale. It's pretty good. Wonder if views and subs would go up if I went after Jeremy. He is West Coast. You know what? Hey, I went with the 9 o'clock so that it wouldn't be a conflict because I didn't want people to be divided amongst 2 shows. Then 2 weeks later, they had to move their show due to Nick's schedule. I mean, that's basically what happened because of his living situation and when he can actually do the show. So I have no issue with that. I don't take that personally. The thing is, we don't know how long that schedule is going to last for them. Okay. But if Nick has any questions or any updates for me, he'll be the one to let me know. But he'll support me. I'll support him. And 10 p.m. show would be great. I usually don't get home on Wednesdays till 9:45. Okay. Keep that in mind. Streveler time, wins quarterback 2. Johnny, do me a favor. Do me a favor, Jerry. Okay? Go back to the game against Jacksonville. Watch the video of that drive. In particular, watch the video. I got to see if I can present videos on here. I know sometimes there's like YouTube. I have to prepare this stuff ahead of time because I'm still kind of learning a few things. But do you remember that throw he made to C.J. Uzomah where there wasn't one Jaguars defender in the same zip code as him? And Streveler throws it about 10 yards to the right. Uzomah had to dive, get the ball, and he was tagged. If Streveler throws that ball up, like just accurate to a standing still C.J. Uzomah, he could take it down the field for a touchdown. Chris Streveler is Tim Tebow with a better beard. That is Chris Streveler in a nutshell. Grandizer, did you already cover which Jets position carries an extra position? I think you have 10 offensive linemen, 10 defensive linemen. That's first and foremost. Actually, no, I think I've got the roster. I've got a roster prediction right here. Yeah, actually, I can go through this with you. Yeah, let's go through this right now. Yeah, the 30-yard bomb from Streveler. It was a duck. It was like a clay pigeon, is what it was. Man, it was a shot put. Nick's been through enough punishment right now, as of late. Right now, Nick has been through enough. I can tell you, but I will tell you, Nick and I talked on the phone recently for about a half hour, talked a few things over. I think we came to an understanding on a couple of things, on how I feel and everything like that. And hey, I'll tell you what, my hope is that we can all do shows together during the season, especially during this year, because as much as I'm happy to be doing the shows live on my own now, that I'm kind of doing something for myself, the best is really when you're talking about it with your friends. It's what it's all about. And I know you love watching us make fun of each other and go off into random topics like those Friday night shows and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely fantastic in this upcoming season. Yeah, I definitely want to be able to talk about with you and with all my friends, both. And when I say friends, I don't just mean the other content providers. I mean you guys in the chat as well, because, yeah, we are family. We're one dysfunctional family, but we are family. So I'll give you kind of a rough feel right now on this is my current roster projection right now for the Jets 53. So I'll just kind of roll through this. Quarterback, I've got 2 players, Rodgers and Wilson. Running back, I've got Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Bam Knight, and Israel Abanikanda. It's got 4 running backs. Now, the hard part for me is leaving off Nick Bawden at fullback. I wanted to add him in the worst way, but I really think it's going to be 4 tight ends on this roster. So tough as it was, I left Bawden out. Wide receiver, I've got 6. I've got Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, Corey Davis, McCole Hardeman, Randall Cobb, and I'm putting Jason Brownlee on because he is really turning some heads. But I think between Brownlee, Cap, and Charles, one of those 3 will make this roster. And hey, Alex Erickson caught a touchdown today from Zach Wilson, and I have him pretty much at the bottom of my depth chart. So I got 6 wide receivers. Now I got 4 tight ends, CJ Uzama, Ty Conklin, Jeremy Ruckert, and I'm adding Kenny Yeboah. And here's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Kenny Yeboah plays special teams, and Brant Boyer gets a choice on that. There is no other wide receiver or tight end on this roster who will play specials. So I think Yeboah stays. I think Kuntz is just a little bit too raw. The Jets try to sneak him through waivers and stash him on the practice squad. That's what I think is going to happen. Kuntz is an amazing athlete, but is he the football player right now that they need? Because this is not the Jets days of old when we were starting freaking Ryan Griffin at tight end, when we were starting Dan Brown at tight end. I mean, the tight ends we've had over the last few years, they would barely make the XFL right now. Okay, so this is a serious tight end roster, and Kuntz, I think, is just kind of in a rough spot where he is with a win-now team with some veterans. So I really hope he makes it. I want him to be a Jet, but I don't know if he makes the 53. But hey, let's see these games, and we might change our minds. Offensive line, I've got 10. To me, I don't see too much room for give here. Duanebrown, Billy Turner, Carter Warren, mekhibecton, Max Mitchell at tackle. At guard, I've got alijahveratucker, Lakentomlinson, and Wes Schweitzer. And at center, I've got Joe Tippmann and Connor McGovern. I'm cutting Tristan Colon. And one of the reasons I'm doing that, I would have had Cologne on initially if the Jets didn't sign Connor McGovern back, because Cologne is really more of a backup center than a guard. But with McGovern back now, I think Cologne is a little bit redundant. If there's an injury on the interior offensive line, I think he stays around. But I think Cologne is going to be a tough cut. By the way, cut day, I believe, is August 29th. I think it's one day for cuts, and I'm pretty sure August 29th is the day. That day is going to be insane. August 29th, just to check, that is a Tuesday. All right, I'm going to have to find a way to take a very long break off work because the news is going to – you're going to want to have all your Twitter notifications, all your Facebook notifications. I don't know how many videos are going to come out that day from the content providers. But August 29th going to be nuts, man. Going to be nuts. Grandizer, our guy WATCHALONG is winning all day, every day, and twice on game day. Yes. In that case, bring on opening night. You know what? I'm trying to. We're just trying to get better, put out consistent content, and just keep figuring out ways to make it better and better. I talk about a variety of things because, we got so many great Jet content providers. Why just limit myself to that? And when those guys are so great, why not do a little bit of a different path? There's a whole lot of fans out there of all kinds of different teams. And, man, I hope they'll find the channel and they'll get a chance and they'll become a regular viewer and a subscriber. Yeah, because I love doing this. Been doing this just over a year now, and I plan on doing it for a long, long, long time. I really do. I only wish I'd started sooner. Okay, so that's the offensive line. Now with the defensive line, I have 10. I don't see any give here. Carl Lawson, John Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson, Bryce Huff, Michael Clemens, Will McDonald, Quinnen Williams, Quentin Jefferson, Al Wood, Solomon Thomas. I don't think there is any give there at all. Long as everybody stays healthy. Yeah, Chase Samaro. Yeah, had a lot of drops. Had a few glimpses. Yeah, he played. He was okay for a bit, but he never put like two good games together in a row. It felt like. Hey, I was rooting for the guy just because Chad Pennington announced the draft pick, so I figured he had to be great, but it didn't work out that well. Didn't quite work out. Yeah, Jets aren't very good at drafting tight ends, and they're not very good at drafting in the second round. And Amaro's kind of the perfect storm. So I got 10 defensive linemen. At linebacker, I've only got 4. All right, this might be my most controversial position, but I got Mosley, Quincy Williams, Jamiensherwood, and Zaire Barnes. Now, you might see Hamza Nasruddin, Chaz Surratt, Claudine Charles, who I mentioned earlier as a surprise. But I think some of those guys are going to be on the practice squad. I definitely think Charles is a good practice squad candidate. So I think he is going to be stashed away over there. But I'm not confident in this linebacking core. And if they sign Quan Alexander back, then, we'll go back and adjust this. But I think right now the Jets roll with only 4 linebackers. Then at cornerback, I've got 7 players. I've got Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed. Brandon Eccles has to be counted for the first week in the initial 53 before he goes on the restricted list. Okay, so the Jets can't just hide him away because he's suspended. He has to make the initial 53, and then he can be suspended for the first week. So Eccles counts towards the 53. Also, I throw in Bryce Hall. I throw in Justin Hardy, Michael Carter II. And currently, I'm putting in Javelin Guidry just because Jarek Bernard-Converse is hurt. He's on the PUP list. I don't know when he's going to come back. So I've got Guidry there as an extra defensive back, as kind of an extra slot back. I'm sure Green Bean will not be happy if he ever finds out that I'm keeping Javelin Guidry on the roster. But hey, there you go. Take that. What was your take? Johnny Jimenez wants to ask, what's your take on Mims sounding salty on his Detroit presser? Go prove it. Talk's cheap, pal. Talk's cheap. You can score 1 touchdown as a New York Jet outside of preseason games. So go prove that you're actually good. I'm not holding my breath on it. Interesting on which position keeps players with a longer season. We'll see what happens more often. Extra O-line and D-line guys, just 2 quarterbacks kept on 53. Yeah, I want the extra offensive lineman more than I want Tim Boyle on the roster. That's how I really feel. Yeah. You can always go, hey, I'm sure Josh Johnson will always be out there. There'll always be some quarterback you could sign in a moment's notice if you absolutely need to. Okay, at safety, I've got 4. Jordan Whitehead, Tony Adams, adrianamos, and Ashton Davis. I wanted to put Trey Dean on the team, but again, Davis is playing the special teams. I think that matters. They signed Dane Cruikshank from Tennessee. I got to see him. I do think Davis is prone to getting cut if Dean or Cruikshank play well enough, and it's just a shame about Chuck Clark being out for the season, man. It's just a real shame that happened. And then you have your 3 specialists, Gregzuerlein, a kicker, Thomas Morstead, a punter, Thomas Hennessy at long snapper. So that is my current 53. I'd say if I'm flexible on a position, it would be adding Nick Bawden at fullback, and I'm willing to be a little flexible with the defensive backs as well because, I put 5, 7, I put 11 defensive backs on here. I could see it being 10, and I could see some of those players shuffling around. But yeah, offensive line, defensive line. I think you're putting on 20 total, and I don't think there's any room for give. I don't see any change with any of those positions, injuries aside, of course. All right, Hank G. This is a good question. Who do you wish a better season, Mims or Elijah Moore? Easy, Denzel Mims, because Elijah Moore is in the AFC, and we're going to see him later this year. That's about it. There's no. Well, here's the thing. We want Mims to make the 53, so the Jets get that 6th round draft pick in 2025. May not be the biggest deal in the world, but hey, it's something. Every draft pick means something. I have no ill will on Elijah Moore. I wish it would have worked out, and I do think he's going to be, as long as Deshaun Watson is anywhere near what he used to be, I think Elijah Moore is going to have a very good season. But I think that, yeah, I definitely wish the better season on Denzel Mims because it won't hurt. And hey, Detroit plays, I believe, Miami this season. I think that's their. I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, never mind. Tennessee plays Miami. Never mind. But yeah, I don't have any ill will towards Denzel Mims. But yeah, Elijah Moore's in the AFC, so I can't wish him well. I just can't. But I expect Elijah Moore to have a much better season than Denzel Mims. But yeah, I guess if you look at the quarterbacks, this is interesting. Both, you know what? Now that I think about it, you know what's interesting? These two guys, you got one in Cleveland, one in Detroit. Those might be the teams with the two best offensive lines in football. You know, think about that. Like Cleveland, you've got Joel Bitonio, Ethan Posick, Wyatt Teller, Jack Conklin is there. Detroit, they've got Frank Ragnow. They've got Taylor Decker and Penny Sewell at tackle. Those two offensive lines are amazing. So both of those quarterbacks are going to have a lot of time to throw the football. They really, really will. So, yeah, I think both of them have a chance to be very productive. I think Moore's going to get more playing time, though, no pun intended. Grandizer, New York Jets reveal throwback legacy white uniforms. Will I order one this year? You know what? I'm not a big jersey guy. Right now, I don't know. I did buy, as you all probably saw, I've already got the Aaron Rodgers jersey, the black fashion jersey. The last jersey I purchased before that was a Jamal Adams, and it was like a cheap $45 jersey. And before that, it was like Nick Mangold. So jerseys are not a big thing. They are doing legacy white T-shirts, though. They've got a Sauce, a Garrett Wilson, albeit with a number 17, and Aaron Rodgers. Maybe I would order one of those, but you know what? Here's my thought. Those T-shirts are $40 online right now for a freaking T-shirt. If I was spending $40 for a T-shirt, it better be like a soft, like a blend like this is. You know, $40 for like a heavy white cotton T-shirt, I don't know. I don't know about that. So at that point, if you're spending $40 on the T-shirt, it's like, I don't know. I'd almost rather spend the $130 and get the jersey. I will say this. You know, one jersey I've really thought about getting was a black Alijahveratucker. But when they had Veratucker on the website, it was always a green or a white. I just felt AVT like. Oh, and here's the other thing. This is what's so screwed up with the jerseys, guys. When you customize it, I know there's the knockoff websites, but it takes you months to get them. When you customize it, you can only do 10 characters. So with Vera-Tucker, it's 11 characters. So you'd have to leave the hyphen off. And to me, it just doesn't make any sense to do that. So I would have customized a black 75 Vera-Tucker, but I would have had to have left off the dash. And to me, that just, it didn't look right. It just did not look right. But maybe a white Vera-Tucker as a legacy jersey. You know, that might be a good look. I don't know. I just got a good feeling about AVT that he's going to be here for a while, that he's going to be like a leader of this team. I got a good feeling about AVT. The other guys, I don't know. It's going to take a little bit more time. I mean, I'm the type who would want to have Sauce one on the back, not Gardner one on the back. But with NFL rules and legal reasons and all that stuff, yeah, that's not really an option. But yeah, will I order a jersey? A white jersey? I'm open to the idea. I'm open to the idea. Yeah, maybe. I wish I get some super chats. Yeah, the Watsu K99 jersey fun. No, we're not going to have that. That'd be a little bit ridiculous. But yeah, maybe I should. Maybe in the future I'll put in my Venmo link just in case anybody does want to support financially. So maybe I could do like some subscriptions. Maybe I could add some music or maybe some sound effects, stuff like that. Because with some of that, you need like a good subscription. Oh, just to make sure everybody's with me, I do have one thing that needs to be said real quick. So let's all do this. There we go. So just a little JETS chant to make sure everybody's there. Johnny wants that Quinnen-Williams legacy jersey. Hey, why wouldn't you? I got to tell you, the numbers look so much better. You know, I like that little serif as opposed to, like, if you look at the number 1, it looks like the letter L, right? I think I mentioned this earlier on the show, where the 1 looks like an L. And I got to be honest, I'm not a big fan of that. I like the little number, the little thing that comes off the 1. I think it's a serif or something like that. But yeah, I think the numbers look a whole lot better. I like seeing, this is what I think I kind of wanted, was the 80s design, but the new green. I've never been a big fan of the Kelly green, of the really, really light green. Okay. And by the way, just so you know, the green down here that you're seeing here, where the names are, that is Gotham Green. I even looked up the hex number to make sure that everything looked right. So, yeah, I really think the jersey is fantastic. I don't think there's really a thing I would change. I've heard about, well, they have the black stripe for a while and that kind of a thing. But no, I don't. Let the black just be on the black uniforms. And it looks like the Jets are only going to wear the black uniforms once this year. And that's going to be on Black Friday, because I think the rule is you can only wear alternate uniforms 3 times a season. So the Jets are wearing the white legacy in week 1 and week 4, I believe it is. And then Black Friday against Miami. So the rest of the time, it's going to be the green jerseys, the white jerseys, or some combination of what they're currently using. But yeah, if the Jets were able to go back, I have not been a big complainer of the current uniforms. I know some people think they're the worst things ever. My biggest problem with it is you don't see the word Jets anywhere on the jersey. It just says New York. I feel it should be a thing like maybe it says Jets on one jersey and New York on another jersey. I could get with that, but I don't like that the only place you see the word Jets is on the helmet. To me, that has never, ever made sense. So, yeah, but I thought they did about as good a job with these jerseys as you could possibly. Hey, these are the jerseys that deserve the big fashion show. Remember a couple of years ago? I know you all remember this, right? When the Jets did the big fashion show and they had the DJ and all this crap, and they revealed each uniform, and now like all those guys are off the team in like 4 years or whatever it is. Wow, life has changed. Life has changed, and it has changed for the better. Johnny, there's a lot of videos of me leading the chant. Yeah, you know, we could upload that. Yeah, I could definitely put a video up of me leading some of those chants. I'd have to go through them, but yeah, I could. I'd have to download them. Yeah, because they're usually posted to Facebook, and it's hard to download a Facebook video. Or yeah, but if you have a video on your phone, yeah, definitely send that to me. Yeah, it'd be great. Vervain, Jets need to make the legacy jerseys the official ones next year. Barely any fans like the current jerseys compared to the throwbacks. I completely agree. You know, what's old is new, and I feel this is an improved version of that 80s jersey. I think the helmet looks fantastic. And I like I didn't think I was going to like the numbers on the shoulders. I usually don't like that because to me it gets too busy when you have the numbers on the shoulders, but this jersey also has the stripes going across the arm. So it kind of reminds you of a couple of years ago. I like that. I like that they put some stripes there. I think it's a good look. And even the player names look better. They're like more compact. They just look clean, don't they? They look really, really clean. Yeah, I thought the Jets hit it absolutely out of the park with that jersey. They really, really did. Remembers the New York Sack Exchange next week, or maybe a player of the week that you focus on past or present. We could do that. You know, I was doing a little series when I was writing articles on my blog, my sports blog. I haven't been doing that as much really at all because I've been so focused on videos. But we did a little series called Co-Pilots, where we would talk about a New York Jet who might have been forgotten about and give them a little bit of love. I think I did one on JoJo Townsell. I did one on Burgess Owens, the safety from the 70s. So, yeah, we could do a little profile and, because the co-pilot, he does a job, but he doesn't quite always get the recognition. So I thought the co-pilots would be a really, really cool name. But, we could spend like a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, and maybe do a little co-pilots. Maybe once the NFL season starts. I think we'll do it. I think we'll do it once in the future. Once we really, really get football season going, like maybe in September, I'll start doing that. Yeah, give me a chance to get some research done. I got to get you to 666 subs and then stop there. let's blow past 666 for sure. But yeah, currently as it stands, we're at 659. I was at 660 earlier, so that hurts. But oh well, maybe it was a bot or something like that. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Definitely share with a friend. I hate to give all the plugs, but yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is getting this available, and by hitting the like button, by subscribing, by sharing it, it makes the videos available because there's a lot of great content providers out there. And I want to be up there with them. I want my videos to be seen as well. And I can't do that on my own. I could do it to an extent, but I need you guys to help me out with that as well. So every thumbs up, every subscribe, every time you share it with a friend, it means a whole heck of a lot. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a 10:53. Man, I thought I was only going to do an hour, but we have done close to 2 hours at this point as a solo show. First time I've ever done that. Man, I didn't know that I would ever do it, but yeah, we got to 2 hours. And hey, I want to thank you guys for coming in at 10 o'clock, for helping to keep this going and engaging me, asking some great questions and stuff like that. And you know what? We had so much fun. Let's do it again next week. As far as the time goes, maybe we will do this at 10 o'clock going forward if that's what's easiest for everybody. In fact, I think I am going to make it 10 o'clock going forward for the foreseeable future. If there is a change, I'll put a post up to let you know. Going to give everybody advance notice because I don't want anybody to be caught off guard. Want to communicate with you guys. Want to be clear about what's coming up and all of that because you deserve that. So yeah, let's try it at 10 o'clock next week. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see what we have to talk about. And finally, the other thing I will say, I'm going to be in North Carolina now for about a week, but I am planning to be back in the Wicker Chair Wednesday night. So 7 days from tonight, we should be back in our old stomping grounds, back in Newport News, Virginia. And chances are I'll be coming in very exhausted, coming off work, catching up on a full week of work. It's going to be pretty crazy. I watch a lot of Vervain. I watch a lot of your videos, and you leave likes even if I don't comment. Even the Rangers videos are quite good. I appreciate it, man. I definitely appreciate it, and I hope you're not bothered that in the logo thing that I do, I did not include the doubles. But I went with 8 teams. It looked very symmetrical, so I had to go Rangers Islanders. But no offense to your Devils, and the upcoming hockey season is going to be really, really exciting. I know my father is super excited for hockey to start as well. Can't come soon enough for him. And I think those Rangers Devils games are going to be very, very interesting. All right, everybody. I hope you all have a great week. And what else is there to say? Except I'll see you right back here once I'm back in the Wicker Chair. Have a good night, everybody. Be well.